So hey guys, today I'm going to be ranking all Spider-Man properties, including the three trilogies for the most part, um Venom and both of the video games. So let's get started. But I'm not including Spider-Man PS5 though, because I didn't play it yet, and I don't know what it's supposed to be, but still I didn't play it yet. So let's get started. Number 11 is Spider-Man Far From Home. At first, I thought it was great. Then it went to mediocre. Then it went to bad, or decently bad. I love Tom Holland in Spider-Man so much better than Homecoming. He's just as good as he is in most of the Russo movies, like the Russo brother movies. The villain's pretty good. Not fantastic, but a really solid villain. Nick, but that's pretty much all that's really that good in the movie. I didn't really love the romance between MJ and Peter. Nick Fury being a scroll, and that dude just shows that Nick Fury doesn't care that Natasha Romanoff, three Avengers that he recruited, mainly Natasha Romanoff, who he helped, and she's dead. She helped him so much. She's dead, and he doesn't care. MJ, I thought was pretty annoying. I thought that other kid who was trying to get with MJ too was really annoying. I thought the relationship felt a bit too forced, but it was still decent enough to watch. I thought that he barely went through any consequences. And also, it just didn't feel that right because, number one, um, he was supposed to deal with Tony Stark's death but didn't. I'm not going to spend too much time on this film because I have 11 films to go through, or 11 properties to go through. So overall, this film gets a 4 out of 10. Plus, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. It's a pretty decent film. I don't hate it, but I genuinely don't love it. It has way too many plot holes, and the villains of those plot holes are pretty darn bad. Both Electro, Green Goblin are downright awful with the stupidest motivations ever. Rhino is even worse, but he's not even really in it that much, so that's pretty decent. I do like Peter and Gwen's relationship a lot. I really, really love the CGI and the fight scenes, and they're better than The Amazing Spider-Man because they're memorable, a bit more fast-paced and well choreographed, and has amazing music. And another thing is, the locations they take place in are absolutely just so much better than last time. And uh, pretty much a lot of bad things too. This Peter does suffer consequences for a lot of actions, and Gwen dying was unnecessary, but wasn't that awful of a bad thing. But so And also another thing I really liked. This isn't Mark Webb's fault though. I love Mark Webb. But it is John Watts' fault for both of the MCU films. He doesn't get Spider-Man at all. 9 Venom. The one, well, um, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 gets a 5 out of 10. Actually, a 6 out of 10. Venom, just a bit better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2. I don't hate Venom at all. Actually, the only thing I really like about it is Tom Hardy's performance. And the special effects are pretty good. The villain sucks. His relationship with that girl there, I think it's here, sucks to crap as hell. Well, it just sucks. You don't barely even get any time to get them. Tom Hardy is amazing in the role, but Venom is way too human, and Tom Hardy is way too good. Venom feels more like a superhero, and Eddie feels more like a good guy than just a normal average guy who's just very overconfident. Pretty much that's who Venom is. Overconfident Eddie Brock. And the motivation without Spider-Man just sounds stupid. Overall, 6 out of 10, just a bit better than The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Still, it's just a fun film. That's what's good about it. It's just, I have a blast watching it. Just such a big fun. Like, it's a fun fest. Spider-Man Homecoming. The thing is, this thing would be like number 5 or 4 if it wasn't for. Actually, no, it would have been like number 6, but still, it would be higher if it wasn't for this one line. If you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't have it. Tony Stark, this guy here, says that. That's just stupid. What? That's forcing in a character arc. It's not making someone you love die naturally, like Spider-Man, or The Amazing Spider-Man, the first film. It's just making forcing Tony Stark to make Peter Parker or Spider-Man go through a character arc to learn that the suit. Well, his character arc was pretty good. The Vulture was amazing, but the suit wasn't the hero. It was Spider-Man. That's my main problem with Far From Home too. Far From Home completely denies that fact and gives him 3 new suits. Well, 2 really, but still, he uses the Iron Spider suit in a few scenes, so 2 new suits. Why can't he just use this suit here? He still got the suit back in the end of Homecoming. So why does he need it back? Why couldn't he just design his own suit? Like, if that's what he learned, why does he need his overfilled tech suit? Also, he's way too techy. Except losing the suit, he suffers, like, no consequences. And it's just not a good film. It's not bad, but it's not really that good. Spider-Man 3. This gets my... now we're getting... Spider-Man Homecoming gets a 6.5 out of 10. This has my praise for being the first superhero movie I've ever watched, and the first movie I've truly loved. This movie is just a blast. It's funny. It has great moments throughout. It's heartfelt. It has a great arc for Peter. Venom, I thought, was perfectly incorporated, except there are a lot of problems with Venom, but I just really enjoyed this version of Venom. Just like I enjoyed, and it's mainly, I also really like Topher Grace's performance. I don't think it was amazing. I really like Sandman. I don't love Sandman, okay? I don't love him. I think the actor who played was a little weak, but I still like the actor a lot. I loved James Franco's Green Goblin, except I hated his motivation because that's just stupid. Like, watch Spider-Man 2, go to Spider-Man 3. He just sounds stupid. Peter learning to not be an overfilled ego-filled idiot, and learning to share his feelings, to not be like Spider-Man is everywhere, and learning to share his feelings with MJ and be like, Peter goes through an arc through here. It may have way too many storylines, but Peter goes through an arc, and the arc feels natural. That's the thing I like. It feels overfilled, too crowded, but for what this trilogy is, it's an almost perfect finale in a way. So overall, this movie gets a 7 out of 10. Pretty good. 6. The Amazing Spider-Man. This thing has my praise, just like Spider-Man 3, but for making me know who Spider-Man is. Spider-Man 3 had it, but I was a 2 or 3-year-old then. No, actually still 1 when I watched it, and I still remember it. I was close to 2, though. I was enough to say, oh, daddy, mommy. I could say stuff like that. But this movie is the second Spider-Man movie I watched. Actually, third. But still, this movie has my praise for teaching me who Spider-Man is. My main problem is that the character arc isn't forced, but Uncle Ben killed himself, that's a fact, in the movie. Watch it slow-mo, you'll see. Spider-Man goes through vengeance, but he does learn who he truly is in the bridge scene, and that's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. Probably in many superhero movies. It makes the hero be a freaking hero, and that's what matters. Thing is, he learned it way too late in the film. Way too late. And I also really like Dr. Connors before he turned into the Lizard. He had great motivations, and he just felt like a really, really good villain. But then when he turned into the Lizard, and his plan was just downright stupid. And it came out of nowhere. I can stand for that. But for the most part, I really enjoyed Dr. Connors, and I hated his inclusion of Peter Parker's parents. I'm a big Spider-Man fan, big, number 3 in superheroes, right after The Flash and Batman as number 1, but still. It's just, parents out. Take out the parents. But very entertaining film, and I would recommend it to anyone. This is an almost Amazing Spider-Man, in a way. I love this film. I mean, it's not really a film. I played it in a row. It was so much fun. It was like a blast. This game was awesome. It's pretty much like a movie. I'll just call it a movie. Spider-Man Miles Morales is what Spider-Man is. He helps the community face his consequences. He has stuff. Yes, the story's predictable. It feels a bit forced at times, but that's not saying it's bad. The story doesn't always have to be good. The main character is relatable. His friend is relatable. It's so much fun to watch. Seeing Miles be the hero instead of Peter for once. I I've never been a big Miles fan, but Spider-Man PS4 and especially this made me a Miles fan. Even Spider-Verse, but this thing had a better Miles Morales than Spider-Verse in my opinion. But Spider-Verse is a better movie. But still, I love this film because it just feels human. It feels like a film that I'm gonna like. And also, I love the combat. I love the webs, even better than PS4 Spider-Man. And it just feels better. And it also, they worked really hard on the animation to make Miles way different from Peter, which is something I really appreciate. So, um, oh yeah, I keep forgetting the scores. So the Amazing Spider-Man gets a 7.5 out of 10. Miles Morales gets an 8.5. So now I'm not going to forget the scores. Sorry for forgetting them, but now Spider-Man, the original. I love this movie very badly. It's the first superhero film my mom ever watched, and she loved it as a kid. Like, she was, according to her at least, I wasn't even alive when she watched it. She went to the theater that opening day and watched it, May 3rd, like literally. And this film has my praise for being one of my favorite Spider-Man films ever. It feels human. It feels heartfelt. He goes through he has an entire character arc with his uncle dying, which is better in here than the Amazing Spider-Man. Him killing the criminal. You can see him design his suit, which is a fantastic scene, by the way. The Green Goblin is so memorable. And he is hilarious. And you could understand his motivations. And when he dies, it actually impacts Harry, which is great. Um, I also
Spider-Man! This is why only fools are heroes. Because you never know when some lunatic will come along with a sadistic choice. Let die the woman you love, or suffer the little children.
And also, it doesn't really matter that it looks outdated. The fights are still really well done and choreographed, and are pretty fast paced, and were fantastic for the time. And right now, they still hold up enough to be watchable. Number 3. Into the Spider-Verse. I love this film. This is the film that made me love Miles. PS4 started it, but this film continued it. It felt like a real film. Miles grows, Peter dies, and that even improves Miles. And the pop song, that I love the songs. The development works good. I love it, the look of his new suit. His powers are incorporated into a good way. Spider Pig Dude, Spider Peter Pork, was hilarious. The Detective Spider-Man, I really wanted his own standalone film. And the writers really understand Spider-Man, and the animation is great. My only problem, the one problem, it's still a 10 out of 10, I don't care. But the one problem, I don't like She Octopus. Or, I don't remember his name, but the She Dr. Octopus. Overall, this film gets a 10 out of 10. Oh, I already said that. But this film is amazing. It just feels like a Spider-Man film. Doc Ock, the arms look amazing. Peter gets a big character arc, learning that he has to be himself to be Spider-Man. And even though he has to put his other life away, he's losing Mary Jane, he's losing Carrie, he still decides to be Spider-Man, and that's what I love about this film. 10 out of 10, masterpiece. But the number one film for me is Spider-Man PS4. The outrageous number of villains, the incredible development, even better than Spider-Man 2 for Doc Ock, the fantastic score, the understanding of Spider-Man, the ultimate story, Aunt May's death feeling earned, is perfect. Spider-Man in just the opening scene has a consequence, and here I even have a video going full depth in it. Watch it. I'll put the link in the description. But it's a perfect movie or video game. It has great character arcs, great Spider-Man motivations. Black Cat's in it a bit, but still, who cares? And the ending plan made me cry. Like the final battle with Doc Ock. It's what Spider-Man Far From Home should be. Mysterio was betrayed by Spider-Man. Spider-Man was betrayed by Mysterio, just like here Spider-Man was betrayed by Doc Ock, and then he should have emotionally broke down. But he did. So overall, this film gets an 11 out of 10. I don't care what people say. Great film. Bye.